Our next guest is a singer-songwriter making his major label solo debut at the tender age of 67. It marks a new start for a musical career that began in his native Ivory Coast more than 40 years ago. Please welcome Peter One to the South by Southwest studio.
Thank you.
Peter, how does it feel to be a young up-and-coming buck of the tender age of 67 making your debut here?
Oh, it feels even younger. Even younger.
I mean, it's been a journey, and I think for those who don't know, there's a history here. This is pretty huge, especially for you, just even picking up the guitar, being here and singing. Let's take it back to 1985.
Okay.
You're in the Ivory Coast. You were a star there in the Ivory Coast. You have a huge career. You're about to blow up, as the kids say, and you leave. Why do you have to leave?
I left because in 1995, it wasn't that shining because the career started 10 years earlier, 1985, and 10 years later in 1995, things were getting a little bit more difficult. The environment wasn't good, and of course, this made the situation, the musical career a little bit go down. So I thought about doing more, not just being on stage. I thought about learning more about the music business because I knew that the music doesn't make money just on the stage. Behind the stage also there's money. Around music, there's a lot of things. Exactly.
The producers are the ones who make the money.
Production, everything. There's a lot of things that I needed to learn.
So you had the experience and you were doing well, and then there was turmoil in the Ivory Coast.
Exactly.
And you had a career, you were known. And in 1995, you leave your country, you cross the Atlantic. You come to America. And what's interesting is, like so many immigrants, you didn't just come here like, hey, I'm Peter One. Everyone knows me.
No.
You had to build yourself up.
Exactly.
And you traded the guitar for nursing?
Nursing, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. Because when I first came, I spent a whole year without doing nothing, just looking around, learning, reading, meeting people, until I found out that I was not going to go back soon.
You realized that?
I realized that. So I thought about settling. So I started thinking about what I'm going to do beside, music that I was coming for. I knew that it's not going to be easy. It's going to take me some time. So to me, I needed to have something stable, some kind of career that can, allow me to be stable, to have a, stable life while I'm pursuing my dream.
Why nursing?
Nursing because I think, I look around, I think that it's one of the rare jobs that allows you to do what I wanted to do. Work at night and do my music in daytime, look for opportunities in daytime. I don't know if there's
and help
many
people.
jobs. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if there are many jobs that can offer this opportunity.
I think it's one of the situations where people are listening to like, okay, yeah, like many immigrants came here, looked for a job, worked 2 jobs, did something to pay for the passion. But I just want people to realize that you were already established. You came out with a record. That record was known. Your career, for many who come as refugees or immigrants, they leave. Your Uber driver at South by Southwest, people don't know that person was a physician in Afghanistan.
That's true.
That person was the head of a university. So was there a humbling moment there where you're like, I'm a well-known singer-songwriter from the Ivory Coast, and gosh, I got to prove myself all over again and work 2 jobs?
I didn't feel that at the beginning. To me, I had to start everything from scratch.
So you just took it.
Exactly.
You took it head on.
Yeah, because I knew that coming here doesn't make me necessarily, famous, because the United States is a big country.
I think 340 million.
And there are thousands and thousands of very good singers and musicians here who don't even have the opportunity to be known. So who am I?
You're Peter One from
Peter-
the Ivory Coast, sir.
Peter
Who
One,
came-
the Ivory Coast, nobody in here.
But who came out with a great album in 1985. So,
Yeah.
so you tell us about that album in '85 when you were a younger man. You released this album with your dorm mate, Jess Sah Bi. Our Garden Needs Its Flowers. That album, how formative was it for you for the rest of your career, and how it ended up paying you back so many years later?
I would say that album just was just the start. But like I said, after a few years, we started having trouble, the producer having trouble, all that. So it was kind of an unfinished job, unfinished, thing. We started something and we had it was short-lived.
And Franz, who's a part of our crew who loves music, calls it a masterpiece. He said that album was a masterpiece. That's his words. Yeah. But a masterpiece should lead to something, and it fizzled. Everything, your career, like was it because of the political environment? Was it because of the partnership? What happened?
Yeah, it's more the political environment.
Right.
It's more the political environment, which influences the economical, the social, everything. And even though people still love the music,
right,
which I realized later when I was here, I realized people really wanted more.
You have
of that.
fans.
Yeah.
When did you experience? And we're going to talk about some of your fans that led to collaborations. But when you come here, all right, you come here, you come with your guitar, you come with hopes and dreams, like so many immigrants. You have successful legacy. You're nursing at night. You're hustling for gigs during the day. During the journey, when did you realize, oh, I have some very big fans of my music, and they know me? Huh.
Yeah. Here, I'm always listening to what is going on back home. And sometimes I have the opportunity to see TV shows, radio shows, through the internet, YouTube or things like that. And I see young men, young people, singing the same song.
You're like, hey, that's my song.
Yeah, singing the song in shows, all that. I say, oh, and these people these singers were not even born when I was there.
Wow.
And one day we had a show in New York. A group of Ivorians, they made a kind of little festival, and they called us. That was in 2016.
Okay, just like six and a half years ago.
Yeah. And we were invited there to play live, for the closing of the festival. And the reaction of the crowd made me realize that, wow, over 20 years later, people still want that music. They still want that. That's when I realized that it was really a masterpiece. So to me, it was.
You realize that I'm doing the math, and I'm an English major, but I'll try my best. If you do the math, 2016, your age now. So at the tender age of 60, you realize, oh,
so
there's something here.
People really loved it.
People love this. And so did that then did that reignite something in you to be like,
yes.
Let me pick up the guitar again. Let me finish what I started in '85.
It did. I didn't stop. But at that time, I was already in Nashville. In 2016, I was in Nashville. I didn't stop, but it gave me more energy to continue.
Well, that's wonderful. At the age of 60, just to not let up. And that energy was fueled in part by these fans, these celebrities. One of them is Jason Isabel, who's a singer, and he said about you, quote, Peter One is extremely comfortable. He's in control of the room. He's in control of the dynamics. And you feel like you're seeing somebody who is a legendary singer, end quote.
Wow, great.
Your response to that? You're like, yes, he is correct.
I would say, thank you.
But how did that partnership start with Jason?
Jason, through my manager, he offered me to tour with Jason to open for his shows. And I took this opportunity to meet great audiences. And he's a very, very wonderful guy, too.
And so here you come out a young buck, spry, 60s with the guitar, in front of Jason Isabel's crowd, right? So there's some Gen Zs and the millennials, and the young folks, and like, wow, Peter One, who's this? How was the response of seeing them respond to your music?
Really happy.
They embraced you.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the show were really, really warm, and really, I did feel it. I did feel happy.
I think
Most of the show, yeah.
I think Willie Nelson is texting you right now. Talk to us about, because we had to move this interview because this up and coming independent grassroots singer in Austin, Willie Nelson, he's like, hey Peter, just come by. Tell us about the Willie Nelson connection.
It's one of the legends that I would be happy to shake hands.
And you have shook his hands, right? But tell us how that came about. He reached out to you.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But you think it's gonna happen?
I hope. I'm really hoping.
Willie, if you're listening.
Yeah, I'm really hoping to shake your hand and tell you my admiration.
But so you know what's it's so wonderful to me to show how music is timeless and global. Because one would assume, here's Peter in the Ivory Coast. What does he have in common with Willie Nelson here in Austin? What is about his voice and his songs that inspires you? Because that love is very sincere. I could tell.
His music, as his voice. Yeah, his voice, especially his voice. He sings like somebody was just, doing nothing, but mixed with the music, all that. Wow, you feel that there's something there.
There's a lived experience. There's life.
Exactly.
What other singers really inspired you in this part of your career when you picked up the guitar again in the last 10 years?
The last 10 years. No, it's mostly the young generation.
Oh, so the young generation influences you?
For the last 10 years.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful to hear, right? Because here you are so surprised that, these young kids on the YouTube, they're playing my music. And here you are at this stage of your career, you've always been playing, but now that you're touring and you got the second wind, you're telling me that these kids are the ones who are influencing you.
Not influencing. They're not really inspiring me, yeah.
Who are the young ones that really inspire you right now?
I would say like John Mayer.
John Mayer.
John Mayer. Keith Urban.
Wow.
Keith Urban. And somebody who has been influencing me. I mean, I've been, listening to a lot. I love his music. It's not young generation, almost my generation. Eric Clapton.
Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
So, and these three that you've chosen, I would say Willie Nelson, Eric Clapton, John Mayer, four, Keith Urban. Really, it's a man and his guitar and a story.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's you, and that's your music. What is it about and it's a lot of country there. You cited country, which is interesting. I mean, again, music is timeless, spans generations. But how would you describe your music? Because the people that you cited are really heavily infused by country rock.
Yeah, my music is a blend, a mix of African and country music. As a matter of fact, when I started playing music, I didn't even know that there's a music called country. I didn't know that. I just played this music without knowing it. It's later when we started, being on the market, that people labeled our music. This is country music.
You're like, huh? It's Ivory Country.
So for
it's Ivory Country music.
Marketing purpose, we say, okay, this is country music.
But so was it instinctual then? Did you feel like you might have picked it up? Your ear picked it up growing up in the Ivory Coast? I mean, how is it that you're sitting there, across the Atlantic, basically inspired by and playing country music without even knowing that you're playing country music?
Yeah, I started because in Africa, we have some musicians who did start, they were playing this kind of music, just acoustic guitar, vocal, and sometimes vocal harmonies, The only thing that I added by, getting influence from American country music is, the different, chord, all that, mixing the chord, and that's all. Other than that, the feeling of, you know, the natural music without the electronics or that. We had that already in some African musician who influenced me.
I mean, it is remarkable, right? Because this is South by Southwest, you know, music festival. You see so many people from all around the world, different ethnicities coming together, and it's the music that unites them. You know, some people can't even speak English. No one cares. Like, we went to a concert last year. I had no idea what they were saying. Like, concert's great. There's something about the notes and the harmony that can unite. And the fact that you cite John Mayer, Keith Urban, I would have thought. Those are the people that you cite. Willie Nelson and his voice. And then Jason Isbell says, no, Peter One, it's his voice. Talk to us about the tour. How's that going, and where is that going to go? Where is that going to take you?
With Jason?
Yeah.
We've done one tour. We're done.
What's the next tour that you're going to embark upon?
I think it's going to be in June. It's not going to be just really a tour. We have just one show.
Where is it going to be?
In Virginia.
Oh,
Virginia, yeah.
I'm in Virginia. I'm going to come by.
Yeah.
And I'll be the guy who said, remember me? And you'll be like, no. And I'll just, I'm like, can I come backstage? You're like, no, just go to the crowd.
No.
You have an upcoming album. You're very prolific. It's not just in the past. Tell us about the upcoming album.
This coming album?
Yes.
Okay, it's an album of 10 songs, 2 in French, 3 in my mother tongue, African language, and 3 in English. And no, I'm doing wrong math.
No,
right?
wrong math. I know. I was waiting for you. I know.
4, 4, and 2.
4.
Yeah, 4, 4, and 2.
Why make that choice?
Instinctively, I don't know.
You just felt it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, do you ever?
Actually, we recorded 11 songs, and the label decided to just release 10. Yeah.
What's the story that you want to tell with this album?
The story is, to me, it's the first step of, trying to bring people together through music. People, cultures together. African cultures, American cultures, through music.
And specifically the 3 languages.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you speak French or English or your native tongue. If you like the music, you like the chords, it's for you.
Yeah. You can love music, you can love people through the music, even if you don't understand what they're saying. The music talks to the soul.
Speaking about the music, I spy with my little eye a guitar next to you. And you brought this guitar on stage. Peter One, may we ask you to play a song from the upcoming album?
Sure. Okay, let me see what I can do here.
All right, let's give it up. Peter One, But no pressure. We had Joan Baez here, and she sang it, so just no pressure.
All right. Okay, let me play like. Don't go home. Don't go home. There's nothing for you there, nothing for you to say. Don't go home, don't go home. Many times, I say many times, you decided to go. It had never sounded safe to me, but scary. Many times, many times, you decided to go. I have never found this safe, and I disagree. Hold your horses, brother, don't you go. Don't you go, can't you see? Things have changed, you have changed. You've been here for more than 20 years. Don't go home. Don't just get up and go. There's nothing for you there, nothing for you to say.
That was beautiful. Woo! Peter 1, here's to the next 67 years.
Thank you.
Peter 1 will be performing on Friday, March 17th at 10 p.m. at the Central Presbyterian Church. Our studio interviews are also live streaming during the event on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SXSW. I'm your host, Wajad Ali, and thanks for watching. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for singing for us.